Scrappin with Sheri and September's virtual crop sketch number 2. Now, if you are paying attention at all to my desktop, you're going to be able to see that I'm going off the rails with this. For starters, there are 2 pictures on this. I just can't do that. So I've got several pictures, and it should be a really easy sketch because you've got an 11.5 by 11.5 set onto a background. Not that difficult, nothing that should be really hard. But when I started looking at my pictures and started pulling papers, I have bits and pieces of a lot of different things. And I'm going to make it work. Somehow or other, I'm going to make it work. So the first thing I need to do is create an 11.5 by 11.5. And I'm going to do that using this paper with this paper. I loved the little fishies and the water. And he is sitting in his little bouncer thing with all these different colors around him and the little Nemo characters. So I really wanted to play off of all these bright colors in the pictures. So let's make this into an 11.5 square. Now I'm going to do that by building it on one of these cover sheets from one of my other pieces or one of my other collections. And I'm just going to cut a 1/2 inch off here and a 1/2 inch here to make my 11.5 inch base. Now I have another problem with this, and some of you will identify with this, some of you will not. This is pretty good because it covers most of the paper. The problem is, this is the last sheet of these little fishies I have. This was from Serene Waters, and I absolutely loved it. But I need to do this page 2 times. I need to do once for his book and once for my book. So I am going to kind of half this up, so half it up some so we can share it. Now let's see, it's about 7 3/4. So I'm going to go about 4 inches of this for his book because I want it to look better in his book. And then in my book, I'll use the leftover, which will be a little bit smaller. And then I've got this big piece of the blue. And, you know, if I don't get that into my book, it's okay. I can be all right with that. But we're going to make that work. This blue is from old. Nope, it's not. This is actually a Paper Studio paper that someone gave me. The old CM actually had some blue that was very similar to this. So I'll be looking through my stash or begging some of my scrapbook friends to see if they've got anything that works with this. So let's put this onto our 11 by 11 background first. And yeah, mine is not going to look exactly like that because of the piecing I'm having to do. But I think when it's all said and done, it's going to end up a really cute layout. And I'll have a lot of those pretty bright colors in there, which is what I was really going for. And I'm just going to flip this over and put it onto this white background. Now remember, we're just using this white background to build our 11.5 inch because that's what I've got to do based on the papers I'm using and my leftovers and all that. If you've got an 11.5 sheet, you're good to go. You don't have to do this extra step right here. And you can see it's not going to meet in the middle. But they did do some borders here. And I really liked this. I love this bubbly thing. And I feel like that works in well with the Nemo theme I've got going on. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. Again, this was from a sheet from Serene Waters. And it has all the little borders on it. And I love that. So I'm going to add that in for sure. And I debated, rather than having all my borders in the middle, maybe pulling this down along the bottom. Here again, just to give it a little more color and to keep that Nemo theme going on. And I'm cutting this to the 11.5. But something else I'm looking at. They've done borders, lots. I mean, there's like a 2-inch border. There's a 1 3/4. There's circles. There's a border across there. You know, you don't have to do all that stuff. But I do want to set this apart from this and this. And I'm going to use the back side of this. I'm going to use this orange. And I think what I'm going to do is cut me 2 1-inch borders on this. you know what? First, I'm going to cut it down to the 11.5. So I'm going to cut that little 1/2 inch off. I'm going to center this on my 0 centering ruler between those 1-inch guides. And I'm going to add this top and bottom just to pull that out. Look how that stands out now. Okay, I'm loving this. I'm going to love the one for his book and not like the one for my book. I can tell you that right now. So let me go ahead and stick this down. And I don't know if you've noticed or not, but we do have Croptoberfest project recipes and project playbook videos up. If you do not attend a Croptoberfest and you want to put those pages together that came in the recipe kit and in the bundle, I have done videos to show you step by step how to do those. If you want to do them just like the pages in the books, you can do it using my videos. They're on here. You'll just have to search for Croptoberfest 2025. Oh, surely I didn't do that, did I? Were some of you screaming at me at home telling me not to put it on there? I bet you were. I'll deal with that later. For now, I'm going to cut me another 1/2 inch right here. No, that was a 1 inch. Can't believe I did that. Yes, I can. I was talking. So anyway, the Croptoberfest ideas are on YouTube. You'll just have to search for them. Need that cut down. Does it make y'all feel good that I make so many mistakes? I'm sure y'all are thinking, wow, how does she have a YouTube channel when she makes all these mistakes? But you know what? The good thing is I've learned to fix them over the years. And I don't stress about them. And I've got hundreds of albums that are completed, so it's okay with me. All right, now I'm thinking that's pretty. This one I'm going to hang off on just in case I decide not to do that. Now, one more thing that I'm noticing on this sketch, they've done an extra little border up here. I'm not doing that. And we do need a background, and I pulled the big blue for that. This is just the regular blue cardstock. But I am going to do a little gutting on this one. Again, if you watch the virtual crop sketch number 1 video, I didn't do it exact. I just got me a little bit of it out from matting. And that's kind of what I'm doing here. So I'm not using my clips. I'm not making it exact. Not real concerned about it. And let's go ahead and put this onto our background. And then we'll be ready to do the fun thing, which is the pictures. I think this one's going to go a little bit quicker than number 1 did, even though we had to piece. I've said it before, but I do put all of these pages onto Spargo pages in my album. I love the jeeping of the pages rather than the slide-in pockets. I know a lot of you opt for the slide-ins, particularly if you want to use both sides of a paper. But I like the jeeping and the sturdiness of the pages themselves. So all of my things go on the Spargo pages. And you'll notice a lot of times I use a dark background, and it's really for that reason, because it really pops with that Spargo jeeping down the side. All right, so I'm keeping my sketch real handy. You can tell that. But at this point in time, our sketch is going to be basically useless. I'm going to lay that there just in case that's what I decide to do. But, you know, I printed more pictures. Just couldn't stand not to print several of them. This is when he first got in that bouncer, and you can tell he really didn't know what this was and what was going on. But boy, he fell in love with it very quickly. So maybe I should put those in the order in which they go. And they've left a journaling spot here, and I think I'll probably do the same. I'll probably do just a little bit of journaling to go down there. That little bitty picture kind of bothers me, but I wasn't sure how much space I would have on this page. And I do think I'm going to add this just to pull in a little of that green So I need my repositionable tape. Oh, you know what? This one's gotten bent up in my stash. I'm not going to use the repo tape. I'm going to use a few foam squares. Let's make this stand out. Where do you find yourself on the foam square spectrum? Do you love lots of foam squares? Do you do very little foam squares? Do you not use them at all because you don't like the bulk in your albums? I don't even have to tell you where I am on that because I go through about a pack a week probably on the weeks that I actually get to do a good bit of scrapbooking. So I was just looking at my stash. I'm down to like 4 packs of foam squares in my big stash. So I decided I need to put those on my next order. Look, it makes it look like it's moving. Specifically when it's all wadded up from being in my folder for so long. All right, let's stick our pictures down. And then we'll decide what to do about a little embellishment. Now, I'll just talk to you about embellishing for a second. Because this is an older pack, I had nothing left of it. And I really wanted the Nemo feel of it. Since we've got this cute little Nemo bouncer. My daughter is in love with this bouncer. She actually did not have it with her first child. And her sister-in-law got one as a gift and gifted it to her after her baby was finished with it. So we love the little Nemo. We think it's so cute. But I wanted the embellishments, particularly for his book, to kind of match that, to kind of go along with the bouncer and the Nemo theme and all that. So I thought, well, I could go and get me some stickers that would be Nemo, but I really wanted to get these pages done this weekend. So I got online and just found these little Nemo icons, the little people. I printed them out like a picture and then cut them with my 3/4 inch circle. So I have some little Nemo embellishments to use here and there. And specifically, you know, here's Nemo and there he is. There's Dory. She's showing right up here. I don't want those right on top of each other. And I don't want Dory facing off the page over there. We've got the shark here, and, you know, he may not work exactly like I want him to. But I thought just throwing in these little circles, it kind of looks like bubbles. And that's kind of the feel I wanted with this bubble in the middle. And these two I don't necessarily have to use. But printed those off, added some little border to them. It brings out the blue that's back here. And I had thought that when I gutted this, I might use it to mat the pictures, but I think they're fine. So I'm just going to use little foam squares and pop up these bubble creatures. And I think we'll be done. You can tell there's one of my foam square sheets gone. I'm using just those little bitty foam squares just to use up these last couple of them on a sheet. But the embellishments don't have any sticky to them, so it's going to be fine. And in the journaling, I'll write, this was his first time in this little bouncer thing. And I would say it was a success when you look at his sweet little face. All right. So if I add a little journaling here, Virtual Crop Sketch number 2 from September 2025 is done. Until I see you next time, happy scrapping.